Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Narayanam Padmabhavam Vasishtam Shaktim cha Tatputra Parasharam cha Vyasam Shukam Gaudapadam Mahantam Govinda Yogindra Matasya Sishyam Sri Shankaracharya Matasya Padma Padam Chahastamalakam Chashishyam Tam Totakam Vartika Karamanyan Asmad Gurun Santatamanatosmi Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanandam Sadgurum Pranatosmyaham. Today, in the another text which we took, the physical body we know, we're pretty much aware of. And it is said that we have consciousness as the self. Consciousness is of the nature of life, Chaitanya it's called. And body is as inert as any inert object. But we feel life through the body. Though no particular part of the body you can identify as a locator of life. Even if you take a plant or a tree, you cannot find where exactly is the life. So the Chaitanya or Chetana, consciousness, is not a thing which is locatable physically, though we know it is alive. Similarly, our body is alive, in touch with consciousness. What is that which makes these two, inert and consciousness, come together? How is that they meet? The two contradictory things are going to meet, and that is what we characterize as I. This one, which is a connecting link between the consciousness and the inert body, is called Sukshma Sharira, subtle body. And that's what we are going to see today in verse number 96. Vagadi pancha shravanadi pancha.
Vagadi pancha shravanadi pancha.
Pranadi pancha pancha brahmukhani pancha.
Pranadi pancha pramukhani pancha.
Buddhyadya vidya bijakama karmani.
Buddhyadya vidya picha kama karmani.
Puryashtakam sukshma shariramahuhu.
Puryashtakam sukshma shariramahuhu.
Vagadi pancha shravanadi pancha. Pranadi pancha pramukhani pancha. Buddhyadya vidya pijakama karmani. Puryashtakam sukshma shariramahuhu. Sukshma shariram. Sukshma means subtle. It is subtler than the gross body. What is subtler than the gross body? Thought, emotions, feelings, ideas, opinion, even life breath, prana. Whatever is not perceptible by the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, skin, none of them can comprehend it. So, vagadi pancha, walk, etc., speech, etc. Shravanadi pancha, walk, speech, hands, legs, reproductive organ, anus. These 5 are considered as organs of action. Vak, Shravanadi pancha, ears, meaning listening, seeing, smelling, tasting, touching. These are called 5 organs of perception. These 5. Pranadi pancha, which we have seen earlier, prana, apana, vyana, udana, samana. Breathing in, the air that pushes down, the air that goes up, the air that spreads the energy throughout the body, the air or the power that is able to make us digest the food. These 5, so 5 organs of action, 5 organs of perception, then 5 pranas. So 15 ho gaya. Then abramukhani pancha. Ab means water. So water, earth, fire, air, space. These are all considered the basic elements. They are also 5. They constitute, they make the physical body and the whole world possible. So they are also 5. So 5 plus 5 plus 5. So they become 20. Then buddhi, intellect, manaha, mind, ahankara, ego, memory, these are 4. So 24. Buddhyadi, avidya, kama and karma. Ignorance, desire and action. This way, there are 27 aspects are there. But as a, common, classification, as it is given here, as karmendriyas, jnanendriyas, pranas, 5 elements, antakarana, then 5 plus avidya, kama, karma, ignorance, desire, action. So total 8. 8 locations we can say as sukshma sharira. That's why puri ashtakam. Buddhyadi vidya vijakama karmani puri ashtakam sukshma shariram. It's called subtle body. As we know, this is the body that moves from one life to another. This is the one is what is called as subject to rebirth. So these 8 locations or 8 different kinds of operations are known as the functions of the sukshma sharir or subtle body. It is otherwise known as the linga sharir also. So this is a very important topic because the medical science does not accept or admit that other than the body, there can be mind. It's part of the body. So those who are belonging to this school of thought, they do not believe in the rebirth also, because if the body dies, along with the mind also dies. Correct? If part of the body is the mind, when the body dies, mind alone cannot be there. So mind, if it is not there, there cannot be any rebirth for anything because everything is dead. Because anyway, they don't believe in God. If the God is not there, nothing eternal, physical body is gross and it's subject to death. Part of the body is a mind, so that also dies. There is no question of anybody or anything beyond that. But religions like Christianity, Islam, and Judaism, etc., also believe in the presence of a soul, which is subject to going to heaven or hell based upon whatever he or she has done. So they have also to admit there is something other than the physical body exists. Whatever they want to call it as soul or whatever it is, there must be something. Otherwise, if there is no hell or heaven, I can do anything and just get away with it. Why religion holds everybody in discipline? Because if you do wrong things, you will be judged and you will be punished. Who will be punished? The body is dead. So there should be something existing after the death of the body to go through hell or heaven. Without that, religion cannot exist. Right? So therefore, in Vedanta, what we say, what you call it as a soul is an entity which has a borrowed ability to become sentient while living. And because it has a borrowed sentiency, it extends its sentiency to the body. Thus, therefore, we have a feeling of I in the body. It is like this. I was just thinking about it. Let us say all the curtains are closed, the entire room is dark. When you walk into this room, you do not see this light. If I keep the curtains open, you see the bulb, but no light. And you put on the switch there, and you see the bulb, which is unillumined, start to illumine. So you know, bulb is just an external structure, and when I put on the switch, electricity passes through and then the light comes on. All right. When I keep all the curtains closed, or let us say in the complete dark night, when you walk in, you neither see the bulb nor you see the light. Correct or not? In the same way, in the waking state, we see the body, but we do not see what illumines the body. And we only see this external structure. We know we are alive and we misconstrue the body's life is, the life in the body is belong to the body itself. The Chetanatva, it belongs to the Sthulam. The sentiency belongs to the inert itself. If you ask any common man, what will he say? Are you alive? Yes. What is alive? Body. He doesn't say there is something called consciousness which is illuminating. That he doesn't know. Right? But in the state of sleep, we are like in a dark room where the bulb is also not known. The light is also not there. You have no idea of existence itself. So only when we say, when you to your child also, what do you say? When you put on this switch, the bulb will light up. So what is not there before putting on the switch, when you put on the switch, the current passes through and there is this light. In the same way, other than the bulb structure, there must be something called electricity. And for electricity to reach there, what? You need a cable, connecting link. If the connecting link is absent, power may be there, bulb may be there, no light will come out. Same way, Sukshma Shariram is that which connects the inert structure with the sentient power. This is why it is called Sukshma. And this connecting link is what is called Jiva, the transmigratory soul. What is that? it has in its presence or in its power 5 organs of perception, 5 organs of action, 5 types of pranas, and then the aspects of 5 elements. It has both intellect, mind, memory, ego, ignorance, desire, and action. That is why it is said 8 broad categories of areas in which you can recognize the presence of subtle body. Puri Ashtakam Sukshma Shariram Ahuhu. This is the introductory part of the what is what we call it as the Sukshma Shariram, subtle body, and its expressions. Now, why it is called Sukshma Shariram and what does it do? So that is said in the next verse number 97. Idam shariram shrunu sukshma samnitam.
Idam shariram shrunu sukshma samnitam.
Lingam tu apanchi krita bhuta sambhavam.
Lingam tu
apanchi krita bhuta
sambhavam.
Savasanam karma phalanubhavakam.
Savasanam karma phalanubhavakam.
Swajnanato nadirupatirātmanah. Swajnanato nadirupatirātmanah. Idam shariram shrunu sukshma sannitam. Lingam tvapanchi kritabhuta sambhavam. Savasanam karma phalanubhavakam. Swajnanato nadirupatirātmanah. Idam sukshma shariram sukshma sanyitam shrunu. Listen, this particular body is called subtle body. And it is also known as linga shariram. Lingam. What is a linga? When you go into the temple here, inside, there is a linga in front of Bhagavan Shiva. Lingam means a symbol. And every religion has got a symbol. Every country has got a symbol. You know, when you go to UN, they put the flags, which are all the countries represented there. So, oh yeah, there is US. Oh, there is USSR. Oh, there is China. Oh, there is Germany. Oh, there is India. Oh, there is Pakistan. This is Sri Lanka. Why? How do you know? The flag is a lingam. So when you go to any company, they put their emblem outside. Or when you go to the airport, what do you see first? The green, round, with the queen there. Starbucks. Or M. They look at it, you're hungry, look for M everywhere. Where is M? McDonald's. Oh, there. So every company or every, so what is that? That is emblem, immediately you know what it means. When you see the airline, we're near the airport. Oh, there goes, TWA. Oh, there goes Pan Am. Oh, this goes. Why? Because the end part of that flight, the color, the what called tail, that shows what airline it is, right? So in the same way, lingam means that which is able to indicate. Now here it's beautifully put here. Sukshma sanjidam sukshmam iti sanya sukshma sanya sa yasya sanya sanjadi sukshma sanjidam idam shariram. So here it says apanchi kritani yani bhutani gaganadiyani pradavyanti tebhya sambhava utpatti yasya tat idam sukshma sanjidam edu. Lingam lingi iti asmad dhatoho jnapakam atmanaha ityarthaha. As I said, consciousness cannot be seen. Body, on the other hand, is inert. How do you know there is consciousness in the body? If somebody is lying down let us say that person is in coma. No response. You know the body is alive because breathing is going on. That breathing is a lingam because it belongs to Linga Sharira. So even though that person doesn't open the eyes or hear anybody or smell or taste or touch or talk or walk or grasp or nothing, but there is one thing which you know that by which that person is alive. What is it? As closely you put, then they put a small, if you want to look at that, they put a small thread and put near the nose. Okay, he's alive. So by what indication you know that person is alive? So, but in the normal course of thing also, the person who is expressing himself through his mind by seeing, by smiling, by expressing. So you know that person is alive. So anything and everything that makes you recognize the consciousness present in the body is called Linga Shariram. So that's why here it is Vagadinam Karananam Jadanam Adhishtataram Antaratat Karya Pravityo Nabupattehe Ata Acetanam Chetana Adhishtitam Karyam Karodi Di Vyaptehe Stado Rishtatvat Bahiranda Karana Gaditam Idam Sharirameva Lingamityuchadi Ityartha tu Avadaranam Sushupto Jnanasya Sarvamada Siddhatvat Siddhatva Bhavat Jagare Sopnechasa Manomulagaseva Jnanasya Jayamanatvat Manasopi Jadasya Atma Pradipalavana Mantara Iti Itara Prakashaka Tva Asambhavat Atma Prati Vivagrahaitvena Atmajnabaga Manogadittatvacha Asya Sharirasya Lingatvam iti api bodhyam. The reflection of consciousness which takes place in the Chidabhasa, which makes us able to have awareness as I am. Because the body is not, as today also in the Saddarshanam, body doesn't say I am. Does the body say I am? Through the body I am saying I am. That's what I gave the example when a person is in anesthesia is given. It has happened to me when I went for my endoscopy. When the nurse was talking and suddenly I just slept. And I woke up. When I woke up, I had no awareness of how much time it went. I looked like 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. I woke up and said, okay. And I was in the same place where I went to so-called sleep. By the time they have wheeled me into the operating theater, finished the entire thing, and I came back and it was like, almost an hour is over. So when is the surgery, endoscopy to be done? It's done. I said, when? When you were asleep. I had absolutely no clue about what happened. That doctor was also good. There was no pain at all. Sometimes, you slowly come to awareness, you get pain physical, but then you know that something has happened. So when you are in that state of anesthesia, what was your awareness of the body? Total cut-off. Anything they can do with the body at that time. You have no idea about what is going on there. Sometimes when they do the surgery, they put a local anesthesia and you look at it, they are doing something, you have no pain, what is this? So this physical body, by nature, it is inert. It doesn't even know its existence. Deho na janati. Deha na janati. Sato na janma. We saw that today, that previous class. So physical body does not know its own existence. If that is so, why do I feel this is me? What is it making me feel this? When I touch it, I know it. When somebody touches me, immediately I know it. What is that which brings the awareness of the physical body? That is the Sukshma Sharira. it is not the consciousness directly in touch with the body. It is going through a via media. That's called the mind. And this mind, which is part of the Sukshma Shariram, is what is the indicator of the existence of consciousness in your body. Therefore, all the elements, as we saw, the 8 aspects of the Sukshma Shariram, especially the mind, which includes buddhi, etc., is the one which is referred as Linga Shariram, the symbolic body. So therefore, that is why it is called Lingatvam iti abhibodhyam. So, Sthula Sharisa tada tada vinashitva. Another thing is, it is said, Idam Shariram Shrunu Sukshma Sanjidam Lingatva Apanchikrita Bodha Sambhavam. Apanchikrita Bodha Sambhavam. You know, in Vedanta we explain every object has got all the 5 elements or at least one or more. So if you take the case of a material object, let us say this. So this has got definitely earth. Earth element is definitely there. You can smell it. Earth is smell. So you know that smell is there. Then definitely if it has come to a particular shape, there definitely must be water. Without water, there is no shape. Shape comes because of the element of water. Okay, so here water is there. And if we put it into the fire, it will burn. Most likely it will burn. So there is some amount of fire element is there. Earth, air and space may not be. Space, obviously it occupies, it should be there. Air cannot be there, probably when I put it inside, if I put it in this as a whole, then there is a space and there is a certain amount of air is included. So every object, physical object, has got 5 elements. All right. The physical body is made of gross 5 elements. What does mean by gross 5 elements? The 5 elements called earth, water, fire, air, space cannot come together unless they have common grounds. Meaning what? The earth must have some aspect of water, fire, air, and space. Air should have other 4. Earth should have other 4. Then only they can come together. So this process of coming together because of their other aspects included in each one of them is called Panchikaranam. Whereas mind, intellect, etc., the Sukshma Sharira does not have the 5 elements having aspects of other 5 elements, other 4 elements. They are independent. This is called apanchikaranam, without their grossification, which is to say, they are not gross, they are subtle. Even the mind has got element of space, air, fire, water, earth, but not the way physical body has. So this is the idea which a little abstract to understand, because we can only see the physical thing as got earth, water, fire, air, space, etc. But even our mind has got all the 5 elements, but not the same way as the gross body has. So that is another thing. So apanchikrita bodha sambhavam. Now, important point here to be noted is, does the subtle body die with the physical body? If it dies, there is a problem. Why? Then what you have done in this life will have nothing to do with the next life. Correct? As I have explained to you, if the Sukshma Sharira or subtle body also is subject to death along with the physical body, then there is nothing called going to the heaven or hell. Because who is going? So if it has to retain itself after the physical body's death, then it must be relatively deathless. That's why it is given savasanam. You see the word is used. Meaning vasana sahitam. The impressions that I have gathered in this life or impressions that I've gathered in previous lives must have a continuity. And who makes it continuity possible? Body is dead. What is that which is keeping the record of the memories or the impressions? Consciousness is nothing to do with this. So there must be an element, a presence of something which is keeping account of your experiences of the past to be transferred to the next one. This is one thing. Second is, what actions you have done must have results. Correct? See, if I have done something, obviously the action is meant for a particular result, and the result is not coming in this life, then obviously the result has to come to me later on. What is that which is keeping track of it? This Sukshma Sharira. That's why it's there, Karma Phala Anubhavakam. Anubhavakam means manifesting. What? Karma Phala Anubhavakam. It is this Sukshma Sharira that is making the past actions fructify into the present experience. Otherwise, as I said before, I can kill everybody and die. Then there is no problem. Whomever I want to kill before my death, I will kill everybody and then done. Job is done. So then I will not be responsible. I will not get any punishment for what I did. There is something which is making sure that you are, see, it is like this, the logic goes like this. If I am experiencing things in this life without having a reason for them to come to me, then nobody would believe in action and result. Why do we believe in action? Because action will give results. If results are coming without action, anybody will do any action then? Or if the action is done, there is no result at all, will they do any action at all? So action presupposes that action will end, result will come, and I will be the one who is enjoying the result. So that is why it is said, without action there cannot be result. And also, action without result will also, both of them will defy the logic. Therefore, what is that which is making sure your actions are accounted for and the appropriate results also you will come to experience? This is the function of the Sukshma Shariram, that which remains alive and active even as the physical body dies. That's why he said, Swasavasanam karma palanubhavakam. As Gurudev puts it here in his explanation here, that and it causes the individual to experience the fruits of his past actions. And the possessing of the inclination, vasanas, subtle elements. And at the same time, it is swa ajnanataha anadi upadi atmanaha. It also has got beginningless ignorance as is upadi. Beginningless ignorance as well. What is the beginningless ignorance means? The moment it comes to know that I am the self, it will die. Oh, Swamiji, it will die? Yes. That is called moksha. Why you are an individual so long as you do not know you are the self? Why am I a limited entity so long as I do not know I am the limitless presence? So until you realize the self, it will keep yourself going with ignorance as its primary, primary equipment, or not equipment, primary, not cause, primary characteristic. That is why when the ajnana nivritti takes place, when the ignorance is destroyed, Sukshma Sharira will disappear from the scene. Or disappearance of Sukshma Sharira means you have gotten rid of ignorance. What do you mean by getting rid of ignorance means? All your past impressions comes to an end. meaning all the vasanas come to an end. When vasanas are slowly attenuated, you will come to become more and more free. Is it not true? If I have no drinking vasana, even if you take me to the bar, I'm not disturbed. Or if I'm in the midst of a situation where I have no inclination to have a desire to engage and enjoy anything, I will have my free mind because I'm not disturbed by all these things. I do not have any inclination for this. So where you are free from vasanas, to that extent you are free. Vasana kshayo vai moksha. Why is it said that? When the vasanas end, that is called liberation. Liberation is not a place to go. Liberation is here and now. When you're free of your impressions of the past or the demanding desires. Why we like a child which is 1 or 2 years old, giggling and jumping and all these things? Why? Because at that moment, it is not able to have the equipment mature enough to express its vasanas. So at that moment of life, the child has no pressure of vasanas. So it just goes by what is going on. It does not have any personal desire at that point. It does not have preconceived notions, good and bad. Oh, I like this person, I don't like this person. Those things are not there. I want this, I don't want this. That is also not there. But as the child grows into a next level, the preconceived notions and vasanas gathered over many lives slowly start coming in. Then you say, I like it, I don't like it. Starts. Rakshasa in the starts working. The demon in the person starts to express. So, sushupto jnanasya sarva, so that we saw that, okay. That is the reason why vasanabihi anubhavajanya samskaraihi sahavartade di savasanam bhogahedutvam api asya eva ityaha karmaphala anubhavakam karmanaha punyasya papasya cha kramena kramena pale ye sukha tu tad anubhavaha bhogaha sanjanakam. It creates the experience of joys and sorrows based upon the past actions that you have done, which is resulting in a particular set of experiences in your life. So, evameva avideha kaivalyam avatishtati iti sthula shariratva saditvam nasti. So, etc. So, the explanation is given there as the necessity for purvakrita karma adi ashrayasya antakaranasya nashtatvad natu anantakarane karma vasana adi abhava samsana anubhapatischa. If you say the sukshma sharira is subject to death, there cannot be any samsara at all for the person because there is no past impressions coming into effect, no past prarabdha karma or past actions coming into effect now, so that person will become free. But necessarily there is sukshma sharira even as the body dies. Therefore, it is relatively anadi, relatively beginningless, but it ends at the time of realization. Now, having explained about this sukshma sharira, now comes the section where where and how sukshma sharira or the subtle body exclusively expresses itself. Now, when we are at the waking stage, we are seeing many things. Now we are interacting with people, with situations, and various other plans that we have for the world. So we are not fully aware of the exclusive presence of subtle body because we are busy with the physical body, eating and walking and talking and this and that. In the very busy activities of the waking world, we are not exclusively aware of the presence of the subtle body. When is that we are exclusively can be aware of the activity of the subtle body? That is said in the next two verses, 98 and 99. We read. Swapno bhavatyasya vibhaktyavastha
Swapno bhavatyasya Vivekachoodamanini
Swamatra sheshena vibhati yatra
Swamatra sheshena vibhati yatra
Swapne tu buddhihi swayameva jagrat
Swapne tu buddhihi swayameva jagrat
Kalina nana vidavasanabihi
Kalena nana vidhavasanabihi
Kartradibhavam pratipadya rajate
Kartradibhavam pratipadya rajate
Yatra swayambadi hridhyayam paratma
Yatra swayam bhati yayam paratma
Dimatra kopadi rasesha sakshi
Dhimatra kopadhi rashesha sakshi
Nalipyade tat krita karmaleshaihi
Nalipyate tat krita karmaleshaihi
Yasmada sangas tadayeva karmabihi
Yasmada sanga
Tadayeva
karmabhihi
Nalipyade kinchadupadina kritaihi
Nalipyate kinchidupadhina kritaihi
Swapno bhavatyasya vibhaktyavastha Swamatra sheshena vibhati yatra Swapne tu buddhihi swayameva jagrat Kalina nana vidavasanabihi Katrādibhāvam pratipatya rājade Yatra swayambādhyayam parātma Dimatra kopādi rasesha sakshi Nalipyade tat krita karmaleshaihi Yasmada sangas tadayeva karmabihi Nalipyade kinchudupadina kritaihi Asya vibhaktya avastha swapnaha bhavati. In dream, it is exclusively present. Because in dream state, you're not acting or doing anything with the body, nor you are asleep. So in the state of dream, it is exclusively the subtle body's function. Swapnaha bhavati asya vibhakti avastha. So what happens in the time? Atra asya vibhakti avastha swamatra sheshena vibhati. By its own gathered information. Vibhati shines yatra where swapnetu in that state of the dream buddhihi swayameva jagra kala kalina nana vida vasanabihi. What is the dream? Dream is an extension of the waking without the physical body. So whatever I have seen, heard, tasted, smelled, touched, thought, planned, all those things are available to me, but without their physical aspect of it. If I had had only one masala dosa, I can have 5 more in this state. Because if I had liked it, if I had been drinking something, let's say I had a scotch, halfway through I couldn't do it because I felt like sleeping. You can continue in dream. Because whatever is experienced in the waking has got left an impression in the subtle body, and in the subtle body, it starts to express further. So nobody can dream about something which they have never seen. Even if you have not seen it today, sometime in your life, you've seen it. Without that, it cannot come. Sometimes you may think, oh, I have never seen this. In my dream I saw. No. It may be a combination of few things you might not have thought of. Our Gurudev used to say very jocularly, one person was walking on the street and he saw, in India, somebody is doing, the rope walking. They might have seen in the roadside, one string of rope they put and somebody will walk on it. So that he saw. The second, he saw one fellow in the corner doing monkey, making the monkey dance. So further he went, he saw one place where people have gathered. One sannyasi, one monk was sitting there and doing pravachan, giving talks. So, and many other things. He went to sleep, a dream. In the dream, he saw a monk standing on the rope with a monkey face and giving lecture. Now, he has seen three things differently. The monkey he saw, somebody walking on the rope he saw, and the one monk is giving the lecture also he saw. But in the dream, it gets combined. So I have never seen a sadhu with the monkey face on the rope standing and giving lecture. You have not seen, correct? But it's a combination of what you have seen. Because without you having got an impression of a thing, it can never appear in your dream. Either in this life or even previous lives. Whatever have been gathered in your subtle body comes to express as exclusively in the state of dream. That's why many times dreams cannot be understood. How did that happen? Either you thought about it during the waking state or you've seen it. That alone would come there. Therefore, it is said, Swamatra sheshena vibhadi yatra swapnetu buddhihi swayameva jagrat kalina nana vidavasanabihi. Dream is a state when the subtle body is distinctly in expression wherein it expresses all by itself. In dream, the intellect by itself revels as the agent of experience, etc., due to the various impressions gathered by it in the waking state. So it is like this. When I had eaten some food, and then I went to take rest, what would the body be doing? Digesting whatever you ate. And whatever is necessary, it will take in. Whatever is unnecessary, it will throw out. In the same way, mind constantly is gathering the information from the world during the waking state. You might be seeing many things attentively. Certain things you may not be looking at consciously, but that also gets recorded. See, when there is a sound that is happening, I may not be paying attention. My eyes may not go there where the sound is. I may be busy with something else. But even as I am not looking at the source of the sound, it gets into my system. Sometimes when you're busy doing some work while the news is going on the TV, let us say, you are actually listening but not looking at what is happening. So you're working on it. Okay, after that you switch off and go. But is it not you gather that impression of what is heard even after, yeah, I was not paying attention, but I heard that news was going on. Why? You are paying attention to your reading or something. Or how do you? So the mind is gathering information from all around and keeping it in its either temporary memory or in lasting memory. A temporary memory is where you don't think about it further, it will just slowly die away. If I ask you, 13th June 2010, what was your breakfast? What was your breakfast on 13th June? Can you remember? Okay, if I had asked that question on that day afternoon, 30th June 2010, if you asked that question, the same question, you would have remembered. Why you are not able to remember now? Because that is, unless something very drastically happened on that day, you may not remember that. There is no associated, deeper impressions. On that day, when 13th June, when I had my breakfast, that is when I heard my friend had a heart attack. You remember that immediately. On that day, I was having bread and something else, and then I heard this news. So there are temporary certain memories that are retained. Some of them are not retained. Or you are thinking about it again and again, it will keep deepening itself. So impressions are constantly gathered by our Sukshma Sharira, subtle body, and these impressions that are there within you can manifest as experiences for a short time in the state of dream, there is no interference of the body at that time. There is no interference of the body or bodily functions. Therefore, in the state of dream, you have a free flow of experiences without any further external disturbance. Also is not there. Nobody is causing external disturbance in the dream, nor your own inner body, the physical body having any disturbance at that point. So that is why it is said that the mind only chewing upon various experiences that are there. Then it is said, Kartradibhavam Pradibhatya Rajate. So it is in its own glory. Bhasate, Rajate, it gloriously shines in the state of dream. Yatra Swayam Badihi Ayaparayam Paratma. And with the intellect alone as its conditioning, where Dhimatrakaha Upadi Asesa Sakshi Nalipyade Kartru Karma Leshaihi. It, even though it watches everything that is going on with the intellect as the only factor that is watching it. Otherwise, you cannot recall. Somebody is watching the dream, and therefore you can recall the dream. In the dream, you are the creator. You know, in some of the movies, screenplay, direction, production, everything is one person. Add more, screenplay, direction, production, and whatnot. One single person. Meaning what? In dream, you are everything. Actor, screenplay, direction, production, Mr. So-and-so. And who is watching the movie? Me yourself only, nobody else. I create my own movie, I produce it, I direct it, I write the dialogue, I act. I am the only audience also. So it is, interesting thing is, the one which is called the self, which is illuminating the whole thing, is unaffected by whatever be the experience you have in dream. So, na lipyate kinchit upadina kritaihi. Why? Yasmat asangasya eva karmabhihi. It is unattached. So it is said here, it is not contaminated at the least by the activities of the intellect. Since it is entirely untouched, it is not tainted by any action that its apparent conditionings may perform. So that is the reason why in the state of dream, whatever be the experience that I go through, joy or sorrow, success, failure, happy or unhappy, there is a certain element of detachment, you'll see. That's after all a dream, right? Even if you have a most unwanted, hateful or distasteful experience in the dream, moment you wake up, it may be very very sorrowful or hurting for you while experiencing. But when you wake up and you say, gone, it's not mine, it is no more true. So why it is so? Because even though at that point there is an apparent, reality of it, the Atman remains unaffected by what is going on there. If we can extend the same thing now, we'll be always free. This is also virtual reality. VR it is. VR only. But we don't look at it that way. It looks so real. So here it is said that the Atman is thus untouched by in all states of our experiences, in all the three, waking, dream, and deep sleep condition, the consciousness is an unattached witness of all that is happening within and without us. Since it is a mere onlooker, it is not involved in the joys and sorrows of any one of its these three levels of experiences. So, but we often forget. So they will complete with the 100th verse here. Verse number 100. Sarvavya pratikaranam lingamidam.
सर्वव्यापृतिकरणं लिङ्गमिदं
Sachidatmana pumsaha
स्याच्चिदात्मनः पुंसः
Vasyadikamiva takshanastene
वास्यादिकमिव
Takshanastenaivatma bhavatyasangoyam.
भवत्यसङ्गोऽयम्.
This is a different meter, that's why I put something there. Sarvyavyaprtikaranam lingamidam syachidatmana pumsaha vasyadikamiva takshanastenaivatma bhavatyasangoyam. Asangoyam bhavati atma. Asanga means unattached. See, when you are going to a vacation, you are going somewhere, and you are going to stay in a hotel or a lodge or a place, but when you're staying there, you don't think that it is your house. Whatever be the condition of the room, you know, I'm here for a few days. If there is a leak is there and then some light is not functioning, you may report to the manager and this is not functioning, or there is a leak and this is not working. But you don't think you are responsible for that, right? So in the same way, a person who is able to maintain the asangoham attitude, I am unattached, may do what is to be done, but not disturbed by what is and what is not. It is not irresponsible behavior or thinking that I don't care. No, I care, but I do not allow it to disturb me. That is the practice sadhana that you have to maintain. Even with respect to one's own wife or husband or children or business and many other things, do what is right, what is to be done, but don't think that will dictate your happiness. If you allow that to dictate your happiness, decide your happiness, you are फंस गया. In Hindi में क्या कहते हैं? फंस गया. Caught up. You are just swallowed. So this is what happens. People do not, I mean, what they say, oh, Swamiji, if I am unattached, then I will not be able to function. I become useless. I cannot, if I'm not interested in anything, how do I function in this world? That is a trick. The trick is engage in the body, disengage in the mind. Do what is necessary, but at the same time, do not allow that to decide your state of mind. So that is why asangaha, I am. This self is asangaha, unaffected, I am. So the example is given beautifully here. Sarvyavyaprtikaranam lingamidam syat chidatmanaha pumsaha. This linga sharira, this subtle body is only an instrument in the hands of the self. Like what? Vasyadikam iva takshanasya takshanaha tena eva atma bhavati. Like a carpenter using chisel or a cutting tool to cut anything that he wants. And he uses that instrument only for that particular purpose. If he's, let us say, chiseling and uses that hammer or a small hammer and the chiseler, what do you call that? Chisel?
Chisel.
No, but the thing is what is called?
Hammer and chisel.
Chisel, right?
Yeah.
Okay, chisel. But so that one he uses. Once the job is over, he's not going to carry on with he just leaves it there. Whenever is needed, take it out and use it and keep it there. So just like as the tool of the carpenter or his instruments, so is the subtle body is an instrument in the activities of the Atman. Vasyadikamiva takshnaha teneva atma bhavati asangaha. Idam lingam chidatmanaha pumsaha sarvyavyaprtikaranam. Sarvyavyaprtikaranam means sarvyavyaparasya karanam. All activities for which it is a karanam, instrument syat. Takshnaha, for that particular reason, for the carpenter, for the takshnaha, Vasyadikamiva, like instruments that he uses, like a chisel, etc. Tena ayam atma asangaha. That in the same way, this Atman is ever at the state of, detached witness. So that is the reason why we must understand that the body, inert thing, and the Atman, which is full of sentiency, by themselves cannot come together. I often give the example: if you put a vessel on the fire, and in that you put a water, and then you put a rice. Now rice getting cooked. Now rice getting cooked because of the fire, no doubt. So can you say, okay, fire is cooking the rice, therefore I put the rice directly into the fire? Good. What will happen? You'll get a burned rice. That's all it is. It's not getting cooked. So cooking is possible only when there is water, and water cannot be directly put onto the fire. Therefore, there is a vessel. It is fire touching the vessel, heating up the vessel, vessel getting heated up, therefore the water gets heated up. Water getting heated up, therefore the rice gets cooked. So even though fire is a direct cause, indirect cause for the cooking, but it has to go through the other layers. Similarly, consciousness is responsible for the expression of life, no doubt. But without this Sukshma Sharira, subtle body, the body will not have the ability to express the consciousness. That is the reason why the subtle body is the connecting link between these two. And this connecting link called Sukshma Shariram is that which carries all the impressions, all the actions of the past, and goes from one birth to another birth, carrying that impression. That is what is called a transmigrating soul. And this very Sukshma Sharira, when it is devoid of all the karma vasanas, impressions of the past, it removes all the latent impressions, then it will die. Then what happens? When the physical body is dead, the Sukshma Sharira, subtle body, is also dead. What remains is the free, unlimited consciousness. The you, the individuality, is no more. Now, one would wonder, if I am not going to be there, who is free? We'll see more of it in the next class. We must have questions, at the end of it, otherwise we'll. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayaha, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkhabhat Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha.